Salutare! Astăzi avem un nou invitat la episodul de podcast de la Student Consulting și am o întrebare pentru tine. Ți-ar plăcea să studiezi într-o școală unde clasele sunt de maxim 25 de elevi, unde profesorii sunt profesioniști în domeniu, cu experiență în domeniul lor și o școală care e specializată pe design 100%? Dacă răspunsul tău este da, haide mai departe în acest episod și vezi ce are de oferit universitatea pe care noi am invitat-o. Este vorba despre Universitatea IED, care are campusuri în 3 locații din lumea aceasta, în 3 țări, și îl vom cunoaște astăzi pe reprezentantul universității, care ne poate oferi mai multe informații despre ce înseamnă viața de student acolo, care sunt costurile, ce specializări au, ce înseamnă portofoliul de la universitatea lor, care e metodologia lor de predare și multe alte informații utile pe care sunt sigur că le vei asculta cu mare drag. Hello, Stefano, nice meeting you and thank you for taking your time for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Stefano, please tell me why a student would apply or consider your school? Because there are a lot of design schools in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. So IED, Istituto Europeo di Design, is an international network of design schools. We established our first campus in the 60s in Milan, but then we became an international network. So now we have 7 different campuses in Italy, 3 in Spain, and 2 in Brazil. So students who join our courses, even if they study in one single location, they become part of an international network with more than 10,000 students every year coming from more than 100 countries worldwide.
You said that it's an international setup. Where are the other locations? So one is Italy and the other 2?
Yeah, we have 7 campuses in Italy in the major cities. So Milan, Florence, Rome, Turin, Cagliari, and also the Academy of Fine Arts Aldo Galli in Como. We joined the IED network in 2009. We have 3 campuses in Spain, in Barcelona, Madrid, and Bilbao with the Kunsthal. And 2 campuses in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
But this means if a student would like to study a certain subject in Milan, it's starting in Milan, if you offer the same subject in Barcelona, they can switch during the years?
Yeah, usually students select one campus for the whole course, but then usually in the second semester of the second year, they can take 1 semester away and they can choose whether to study in one of our other IED locations, or they can also select other international universities, because we have more than 100 partnerships with universities worldwide. So students can choose whether to study from Australia to North America or to Latin America for 1 semester.
Okay, so this is the Erasmus.
Exactly.
The Erasmus.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Why a student should, or if you have so many locations, then if I'm a student now, how am I going to choose where to go?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, the positive thing of having so many campuses is that we can offer the best courses in the best possible locations. Mm-hmm. So each of our campus has been developing relationships and connections with companies and institutions over these past decades. And thanks to these connections, we offer the best courses in the best place we can. So most of our fashion courses are, of course, in Milan, for example, because we have connections with the fashion environment, and Milan is the fashion capital. The same way we have a very good courses in transportation design in Turin and Barcelona, which are 2 cities very well connected to the automotive sector, and so on. And another thing to consider is also the city vibe. So I always suggest students to check and go visiting the city if they can, because they are going to spend 3 or 4 years there. So the city is a very key factor for choosing the final destination.
Indeed, yeah. Because when I visited Milan, and when I visited the campus from Milan, I met some students and they told me already that I feel here like home. I'm very happy that I'm here in Milan. But there are also other students who might say it and who are saying, no, Milan is too noisy for me. I don't want to study in such a city, in such a big city. So
exactly. Some students, they love the idea of living by the seaside, so they choose Barcelona, for example. Mm-hmm. Some of them, they prefer staying in a more intimate environment. So maybe Florence or Turin are good choices. So it depends on students.
It seems that you have a lot of choices for them. But how old is this school? What is some of the history of the school? I'm asking you because as there are like a lot of schools on the market, there are also universities who are just coming up in, I don't know, recently, like in 2-5 years.
Yeah.
And I just want to know a little bit more about you, how if you are established already on the market, if you have experience in teaching students.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, IED was founded in the 60s in Milan. So the idea of the founder was to provide local industries with creative talents that were missing at the time. And it was kind of a revolution for the time, imagine the 60s. But that idea proved to be a success. So it expanded the network, not only in Italy, but in other 2 international countries. So it's been more than 50 years that we've been dealing with research and training in all areas of design. So we have courses ranging from fashion to product to visual arts. So we cover all creative disciplines.
Can you please give me more examples of what they can study at your school? What specialization?
Absolutely.
Mainly we're interested for the undergraduate.
Yeah, undergraduate courses, the main areas are, one of the biggest areas is fashion. So we have courses in fashion design where students actually learn how to make their own clothes and their own collection. We have some courses related to fashion, but with a focus more on communication and management. So for example, fashion business, fashion marketing, fashion communication. The design area is also one of our biggest areas, where we have courses in interior design, product design, transportation design, for example. Then we have the visual arts area, which deals with everything we design for visual objects and visual identities, like photography courses, graphic design, animation, game design, all this area. And then we have arts and restoration area for those students interested in managing museums, cultural heritage, and so on. And the last one is the communication and management area, which again is related to communication, but from a design point of view. So we are a design school, so we always and still approach communication from a design thinking methodology. So we have courses in communication design, business design, for example.
So you're specialized in the design. That's why you said that you're a design school. Okay, I understand. You said that in the 60s, when the school was started, there was this necessity of linking the theory with the practice through, I suppose, bringing the companies working directly with students. Yeah. How are happening things nowadays in your school? Yeah. How linked, like if I can say, like how linked is it, the school with the industry?
Well, we are very connected with the industry and companies. Actually, there is no distinction between theory and practice in our classes because we put into practice what we learned the day before. So it's the perfect combination. And we can do that because all our professors and teachers are professionals. So all of them are designers, or they have their own studios, or they work for big brands. So after their work, they come to our school and share their own experience with students. And this is extremely important for students because they have a daily interaction with someone who lives that profession every day. And design is changing so fast. So students needs the interaction with someone who lives that world every day. And in all our cities, we have relationships with companies and institutions that come to us to do projects together. So we receive many briefs from companies that give students a brief, and students work on that project directly in connection with the company. So, for example, for a specific course, they work on a specific project for a company, a museum, or a studio, and then they work for some time on this project. And at the end of the course, they present the outcome directly to the company representatives. which is very good for two reasons. One is because they enrich their portfolio with one project realized in collaboration with a real company or a real institution, and then they show their potential to potential employers, because some of these companies we work with, they see the potential in our students during the course, and so they decide to hire them after their graduation.
But it's happening also for them to have such opportunities while they are students?
You mean working opportunities?
Yeah.
Some of them, they collaborate together. I must say that our courses are quite tough and demanding, so students spend so much time of their time in classes and doing works, so they don't have so much free time during the course. But some of them, they start collaborating with companies while they're still at school.
I remember that when I visited the school, for me, being more humanistic, more for the humanistic profile, there was like, like a laboratory place with, a lot of, for me, it seems like a lot of mathematics, because there were like a lot of objects everywhere, or more like, maybe in the kindergarten, where you see like a lot of, toys that you have to learn how they are working, and everyone was working like hands-on on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was impressed with everything that what they had to do. So it's not just that you learn from a book, but it's just hands-on everything that they are doing.
No, it's very hands-on. Sometimes we think that creativity is like a natural gift or something more related to artistic point of view, but it's a lot about study. So we have, as I said, our courses are very hands-on, are very practical. We spend so much time in our laboratories. So inside our schools, we have all laboratories and facilities students need to develop their projects. So we have dark rooms for photographers. We have fashion laboratories for fashion design students. We have like clay laboratories for transportation design students, and so on. This is true for all our courses. And students use these laboratories for the courses they have inside the curriculum, but they can also use them for the extracurriculum projects.
So you are saying that after they are going to graduate, they are going to have already a portfolio of creative work, will help them to take afterwards a job.
Yeah.
Because they can present themselves with what they learned and what they've created, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
What I want to ask you as well, I know that you have international students, like from a variety of countries. What would be the percentage, the approximate percentage of international students?
Well, it depends on the campus. So some campuses are more international than others. But I can tell you that, for example, the campus we have in Barcelona, we have more international students than local. So the percentage is about 50%, but still in all other campuses, the percentage would be around 30 and 40% of internationals. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think it's a good combination also for international students willing to learn more about the local culture, because even if they study in English, they have the opportunity to have interactions with the Spanish or Italian students.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There is something particular that you are doing regarding the teaching methodology?
Yeah, the teaching methodology is very practical. We have many hours in laboratories because we work on real projects for real clients. So we're a design school, we're surrounded by designers, and so we like doing practical stuff. So there is no distinction between theory and practice. So we have more theoretical classes sometimes, just to present a topic and a subject, and then right after we go to the lab to put into practice what we learned the moment before.
So here the students, as far as I understand, they have a place where they can express themselves.
Yeah.
And to create their own brand.
Yeah.
After they'll go, so that when they are going to graduate, to showcase like what they like, to express themselves or what they learned.
Absolutely.
Who they become. And I have a question regarding this.
Mm-hmm.
So having students from a lot of countries and doing this job for a lot of years now, since 60s, you have students who graduated and now they are big names.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So the point is that, and this is also the reason why our classes are quite small, because in this way we can follow students in a very personalized way. So our goal is that every student develops his or her own style, because otherwise it will be all the same after graduation. And the market right now is very competitive. So if their styles is the same, they will have real difficulties in finding a job. So our goal is to let them develop their own style to have more opportunities for the job market afterwards.
But when I'm going to graduate from your school, as there are a lot of students who are coming to your school, but also to other design schools in the world, my question would be, from what you saw until now, or from your statistics, what kind of students usually reach the success, let's say, the professional success that they would like afterwards?
Okay.
Like, are the ones, I don't know, who are working a lot, the ones who are more relaxed?
Well, it depends on...
profile.
Yeah, no, well, it depends on different factors. But
Stefano, I'm sorry, I just want to ask you this, because in general, students who are going... I'm doing this job for 14 years now, and I'm seeing a lot of students who are going abroad with the idea that if I will go abroad, then I will have, for sure, the success that I want. And I'm a promoter for studying abroad, but all the time I'm saying to students, hey guys, going abroad only just because you are going to study abroad, doesn't matter the name of the university, doesn't imply for sure that you are going to have the success that you want. That it's more than this. It's about creating your identity, your new identity, your brand, your vision about the world, the success. So I want, in this, from this point of view, I want to know your answer. Like, who is the profile of the student who has a success afterwards?
I totally agree, by the way, because going abroad is not enough anymore. So competition is very high, it's very strong all over the place. So going abroad can be a way to get a success. So we encourage students to take the most out of their experience and to use all the tools that the school is providing them. So we look for very curious students. So I think curiosity is one of the key factors to have success. Because classes are not enough anymore. So going abroad, again, is not enough anymore. And to be curious, it helps in finding opportunities, in creating connections with other students that eventually can lead to future job opportunities together. We support them in this sense because it's not easy, we understand, especially for young students. And that's why we have career offices in all our cities, in all our campuses. So the goal of the career office is to create regular meetings with students to understand their career objectives and to adapt their CV, their portfolio according to their goals. We also organize regular events with big hiring companies, also with Monster, with LinkedIn, for example, where their representatives give students some tips and suggestions on how to be ready for the job market. And right before the graduation, we organize a big event, a career fair, where we invite all our corporate partners looking for new talents. And so we match their job offers with our students. And I think we do a pretty good job because the placement rate for all the courses we have is above 90%.
Wow.
And
so 90% of the students, they get a job?
Yeah.
Immediately after graduation?
After 6 months. By graduation, yeah. And the places they work in, again, it really depends on students' perspectives and student goals, because we have students that choose to work for big brands. Some of them, they prefer staying in a small reality. And some of them, they also decide to launch their own business, their own startup, for example. Because in all our courses, we focus a lot on technical skills, but we also have courses more related to soft skills like business, marketing, and management. So our students are ready also to eventually set up their own business or their own startup.
Thank you very much for your answer. So, as you said, in order to have success after graduation or during the university, it's not enough anymore just to study abroad.
Yeah.
As you said, also it's important to develop your curiosity regarding your subject. And from here you are going to create opportunity to create and also to find opportunities, to create networking. This is very valuable for them to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And connections are very important because sometimes we do not pay too much attention to connections. But if you are sitting in a class and you see on your right and on your left, maybe your classmates will be your clients tomorrow. They will be your providers. They will be your bosses. So it's very good to have connections with students interested in the same field as you are and who come from different places, because maybe you can have a very good opportunities in another place you are not considering right now. So that's a key factor.
Stefano, I know that you've been as well an international student.
Yes.
So you are Italian and you've studied in China, as I understood. Also from your experience and understanding about students from your university, what would be some, maybe tips and tricks in order to accommodate in that country? Because at the beginning, also from my experience and from the statistics that I have, I know that in the first semester, usually when you go abroad, is the hardest or is the most challenging time for the students, because it's a new environment, new food, everything is new. And usually exactly in that period, some of them believe, maybe I would like to go home. What would be some tips and tricks in order to accommodate yourself?
Yeah, that feeling is absolutely normal.
So it's normal?
Okay. Absolutely. I felt the same. For me, it was a long way from Italy to China, so I felt homesick at the beginning, but it's normal. It's part of the experience, and it's also very enriching, because if you pass that moment, it will be a lot easier afterwards. My suggestion is to take your time, so don't rush. Things are going to be simpler than at the beginning, and to use and to connect with other students because they are facing the same situation as you are. So connection and sharing this kind of experience is very helpful, and get the most out of the experience. It seems like a long time, 3 years, 4 years, but it passes in a very glimpse of an eye. So you won't have to have regrets in the future. So my suggestion is to get the most out of it, explore the city, take part in events, activities, even if you think you don't have time or you are tired, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. But do you believe, Stefano, that going abroad to study, apart helping you to enrich your academics, because that's why you are going there, do you think that might be also a huge potential for your personal development?
Absolutely.
And becoming more interesting afterwards for the employers?
Yeah, before employers, I would suggest anyone to go abroad for their personal development, even for a short period of time. So, of course, if students have the possibility to take a full degree abroad, that's very good. But if they don't have or they don't want to spend so much time abroad, also a very short course during the summer can be a very good alternative, because a period abroad broadens your horizons. You meet different people from different backgrounds, and you learn how to interact with them, which is something that we do every day in our daily life at work, because we deal with people who do different jobs, who had different experiences. And for young students especially, it's very good because they are on their own for the first time maybe. And so they have to adapt. They have to figure out any daily task that maybe they are supported with at their homes.
What is the duration of the studies? Is it 3 years or 4?
Yeah, the full undergraduate degrees is 3 years in Italy and 4 years in Spain.
Okay. There are any scholarships? What would be maybe approximately the range of the costs?
Yeah, so cost depends on the course. Okay. But we always support very good students, providing scholarship opportunities. So every year we launch 1 or 2 scholarship competitions which are merit-based scholarships. So we usually give students a brief. They need to develop a project based on that brief and relate it to the course of their interest. And we award the best students with a reduction on their tuition fees. So the scholarship is officially granted for the first year, but then if they maintain a certain average of grades, they can have the scholarship also for the following years.
I understand. I think I want to ask you as well about the portfolio, because the majority of your courses, they need portfolio. And what would be some tips and tricks about portfolio? Because this is like a very stressful part for them, for students.
Yeah, it's
for
one
applying.
of the main questions we receive. And portfolio, yes, it's true. We do require a portfolio for most of our courses. And we would like to receive, we call it an inspirational portfolio rather than a professional one. Okay. Because, of course, we don't expect the portfolio to be professional because students are young. They don't have the experience to have a professional portfolio. And the goal is to help them in creating a professional portfolio during their studies at
So
IED.
you don't want a perfect portfolio,
Exactly.
and this is good for students to know it. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay.
Exactly. So what we look for in their portfolio is a collection of their works or their ideas, but always related to their final idea. So they need to understand which is the main message they want to convey, which is the main topic they want to underline. So the portfolio, we prefer quality over quantity. So I know it's hard to make a selection, but the selection of works have to be coherent with the topic or the main idea that the portfolio wants to convey. And it's a way for us to understand the student's perspective, the student's ideas, why they want to undertake this career.
So you need as well a message. It's not just about my technical abilities, or knowledge, but it's also about the message that I'm sending.
Exactly.
Okay.
It can be like a general topic, like some students have a very specific focus on sustainability or some other big topics, and they can create their portfolio around that idea. Or it can be a general individual presentation of who they are. But again, all the works they put in the portfolio should be coherent with that idea. And coherence also in terms of style. So in terms of fonts, colors, and style of the portfolio, it should be all coherent.
Okay. You said something important now. You said that, so I'm not interested to see in the portfolio only the coherence and the techniques maybe that the student knows, but also the messaging is important. And I want to relate this to the fact that when they are going to study with you, or after they are going to graduate, they are going to become, let's say, an artist or a designer or the professional. And it's important how they present themselves in the world. Exactly. And how they send the message about their work. Do you help students to learn this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the ultimate goal is to let them create a very professional portfolio that they will use to present themselves to future employers. So that's why we organize events and projects with companies so that they can include those projects in their portfolio.
I understand. Can you please give me an example? Because here I think it's very important from what you are offering. If I'm a student in fashion design, I'm in the maybe second year, how am I going to work directly maybe with a company or to understand more in a more practical way my subject?
So for example, we have many projects with fashion brands or fashion studios. They give access to their archives. So students work on the fashion brands archives and they develop new projects based on different and old collections, like a sort of upcycling project or vintage projects. And they can then present their work directly to the company representatives.
I understand. Stefano, thank you very much for all the information that you provided to us, and I'm sure that our students are going to find this information useful for them. Thank you for sharing your experience, like from your personal experience being a student, an international student. And now, for closing, I would like to say to our students to share a message. Dragilor, dacă vă doriți să studiați la o școală de design, unde șansele de angajare sunt de 90%, unde veți pleca cu un portofoliu clar pe care să-l prezentați mai departe angajatorilor, Institutul Europeo de Design este și poate să fie o opțiune foarte bună pentru voi. Dacă vă doriți să aplicați la școala aceasta, ne puteți contacta la Studiile Consulting și vă putem ajuta în acest proces, pentru că avem expertiza necesară să fim alături de voi. Te așteptăm să fim alături de tine pentru a avea succesul pe care ți-l dorești mai departe.